Hey, how y'all doing? I'm here. I'm going to be talking about FAM, the financial ascension model. Have you ever been in a situation in your business where you just don't understand why you're working really hard and money's flowing, but there's no money in the bank account? So every time you pull up the bank account, there's no money in there, but you're making money, but it's constantly a bunch of money going out there. Okay. And, or are you like, kind of gotten to a position where it's caused you to have to you've neglected your taxes, so now you've gotten behind on your bookkeeping. You're just very frustrated, you're getting lack of sleep because you don't know what's going to happen with the IRS. um, or you're just experiencing like you're working really hard, but the profits are just not there. You just can't seem to get your profit margin up. Your profits are very low, and you just don't have enough money flowing. Uh, don't worry. I have created a model that's helped many business owners get over that hump. It's even helped myself. So that's how I know that this is going to work for you. So I call it the FAM financial ascension model. All right, I'm just going to write it up here for you real quick. So financial ascension, and I do the ascension because I look at it as you just rising and the level of your thinking. Financial ascension model. All right. So I do that so that you can just rise um, in your level of thinking, because you have to rise in your thinking in order for this to work for you. All right. So I'm gonna go over these steps with you here. So the first one is going to be tax relief. So many of you might look at this and be like, "Oh, I know what this is. You're just trying to, take advantage of me and take all my money and not be able to help me with the IRS." It's not really just that alone. We actually have other options that's going to help you deal with your debt situation other than the IRS, because I don't like the IRS. The IRS does not do a good job in helping people. They have these solutions out there, but they don't always work for everyone. And when they don't work for everyone, it really disappoints me. And if I'm disappointed, the client's disappointed. I don't like that. But we still have to find out a solution for this. So I'll go into more detail about that in another time, but I just want to explain what this model is. Okay. So inside of this also is someone who may be dealing with, let me see if I can, let's see, let's do red. Inside of this, it might be somebody who might be dealing with back taxes. You ain't filed in years, and you know you need to file, but you ain't filed yet. And then you're a business owner at that, so you don't even have no record keeping together. That's where you're gonna fall in right here, because you can't file no taxes without no records. All right. We're gonna do also, like I discussed with those records, I just kind of call this back bookkeeping. Back bookkeeping, prior year bookkeeping, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. You just need a profit and loss so you can file these taxes. Or you need a P&L, or, I mean, sometimes you may need a balance sheet also, depending if you're an multi-member LLC partnership, corporation, S Corp, C Corp. So depending on if you need that. And then also, inside of this, you may just have a lot of debt, a lot of tax debt. And if you have a lot of tax debt, you're probably worried. We deal with people who have debt anywhere from 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, a million. So believe it or not, this happens to people. And this is what I've recognized is the difference in between all this is mindset. Mindset, when this is what happens is one decision to the next decision to the next decision creates a mindset that's a stronghold. And then you get used to being this way. You get used to being that way. You accept it because you don't know how to get past it. So now you just need a professional that's going to help you get over the hump into the next level. All right. So let's go to the next part here. So inside of this right here, the next part from tax relief is cash flow growth. Because some of you out there, y'all are not doing a good job with managing your money. And what you're doing is you're carrying around a bag with a big old hole in it. So I like to call that money bag holes because you're pretty much not doing a good job with managing your money. You're making a whole bunch of money, but then you're not being responsible and keeping track of it and thinking that a dollar is not worth a dollar. You think a dollar is worth a dollar, but it's really not because money is moving around in all different places. So then you create habits and you get stuck on them and then money just keeps draining out of the bag. So you never have a big bank account balance. You could be making hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions, but you only see very little money. You might see 1% sitting in that bank account, $500, $1,000, maybe even $10,000. But it's not enough because it will fade away in 2 weeks. And you know that. So you always feel like you're constantly in this trap. So we got to figure out how to grow your cash flow. All right. So we're going to grow this cash flow here. All right. So how are we going to do that? And in this, what we're going to do is we're going to have to, I'm going to tell y'all, it's a cuss word here because y'all don't want to do this. It's called budget. Now you may say, oh, I do a budget, but is your budget on paper? Is it? Yeah, it's on paper. Okay. Is your budget in the software? Do you constantly review it? Or you call your budget, you look at your bank account and you think that because you look at your how much money you got in the bank and you're making decisions from that, that's a budget. That's not a budget. Okay. And we'll go into more of this later, but that's not a budget. Okay. So you're gonna have to work on that. The next thing is um, you're gonna have to start looking at future money. And inside of future money, you got to start forecasting and planning ahead what to do with money. Because if you do that, then you're not going to be so easy to want to let the money go. So then if you have $100,000 in your account, you might say, okay, you can go say, oh, I'm going to get that Porsche, or I'm going to go get that that new Benz or whatever. You're going to, or put a down payment on something like that. Instead of doing that, you're going to be like, oh, wait a minute. This money is not really here. So, because in the future, I've already got it earmarked. Okay. That's all there. So we're going to help with that. And then we're going to help with debt management. We're going to help with debt management. And also in here, going to be helping with budget, future money, debt management, and what's that other one? Future money, which is in this. Some of y'all may know it as forecasting. I just want to put that up there. Okay, forecasting, debt management, and then I don't know why I slipped my mind right now. Let's see, budget, forecasting, debt management, and okay, it's going to come back to me. So let's just move on here. All right, so looks like we're running out of space here. All right, so the next one is going to be profit. Oh, I got to change the colors because I don't want to. All right, we'll do red. All right, so this one's going to be profit mastery. All right, hope y'all can see that good there. Let me go back through, and so we got a 1 here. Let's go back so it's real clear. 2, that's number 2. And then 3. We're on number 3, profit mastery. So some of y'all might be dealing with, you're working really hard in your business, but your business just caused you to have to spend a bunch of money, and you should be having like 30-40% profit margin, but you end up having like 10%, 8%, 5%. And it just not doesn't make any sense why you got to spend so much money. Well, I'm gonna tell y'all something. In between this and each one of these sets, from here to here, there's mindset growth, because you got to start dealing with some of these things. And when you move from step to step, because you got to identify where you are. When you're moving from step to step, then you're going to be seeing that, okay, I got to grow in my mindset in this step now, because whatever you were doing here, you can no longer do here. And whatever you were doing here, that the lack of, you can no longer do here. Because you got to grow in each one of these, and you got to learn to trust, because your way is erroneous. And you think that you're running business good because you have a bunch of um, material stuff. You got the nice house, you got the nice car, you got nice clothes, you eat out every day. But you think that you're doing something, you got jewelry. But that doesn't define you having a successful business. So we got to start measuring based on these things, and we got to start working on this. So inside of this profit mastery, and so you need a mindset growth there, and you need a mindset growth here. You got to ascend. You got to ascend, because your way of thinking cannot be low vibration anymore. And that's what's got you in this mess, because you keep thinking that you fine. It's time to rise. And that's what this is all about. So inside of this profit mastery thing, so what we're going to be doing is very similar to this, but then you're going to start learning how to operate like a true CEO. Now, look, this ain't for everybody. So if you don't want to grow, this ain't for you. If you're good with making 100,000 a year and it's getting you everything that you want, you're living the whatever life that this is not for you. Or you may find yourself stopping at certain points. This is for the ones who want to grow big. Like, I ain't talking big like you got to have a large 500 employee company, but whatever you want it to be, if you're trying to constantly take it to the next level and you're in a slump right now, that's why we're moving you through transitioning to these, because it takes a mindset growth. And whatever the mindset growth you had, you can no longer use that anymore. It's got to be a different mindset. So you're going to start operating like a CEO here. You're going to be reviewing reports. And then also in this, when you're reviewing reports, you're going to also be, creating KPIs. Because in these KPIs, you need to make sure that you understand how the business is truly operating. If you have employees, you got to make sure that they're meeting their mark, because we hopefully in this part we would have found where the holes at. So now that we plug the holes, now that we're trying to make sure that we're operating off of something strategic, that you're operating off of something that's systematic. That's what you need. So then now we can find ways to increase the profit margins, because you may be duplicating something somewhere. Okay. That's what we're going to start doing. That's what we'll have to do here. So this is the profit's going to have a lot to do with making sure that, I know another thing, that's going to be pretty big here is, expense management. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Manage. All right, expense management. You got the idea. Okay, so I'm running out of room, but so the next one. All right. For the sake of space, I'm going to be getting rid of this. All right, let's see what we can do with that. So I may be crouching a little bit, but just bear with me on this. Okay, so now we're going to be moving to, let me change the color. Nope, that's not going to work. It's too dark. Yellow, red, green. Okay, we'll just go back to green. Okay, so number 4. Does anybody think that they know what this might be? Number 4 is going to be preserve and multiply. Okay, so in this, now that you've dealt with your tax issues, now that you've gotten your profit and loss numbers together, you've grown in your mindset, you know you're now keeping up with this on a yearly basis. You make sure you understand how all of that movement works in this. You're no longer catching up anymore. You feel like you're always behind. You're not catching up anymore. And then you now you're moving into, okay, I'm growing my cash in my bank because I've had issues with my cash, and now I'm like, I got money sitting in the bank, and it makes me feel so good, because now I feel like I'm operating a business, and if I need to bless someone, I can, because I don't feel trapped anymore. Okay. So now you've grown in your mindset now, because now you're actually looking at your budgeting. You're looking at your forecast and looking at your future money. You're eliminating debt that you've created from this mess over here. And then now you grew in your mindset again. And now you're operating like a CEO of the company. You're not just a business owner, but you're now operating like a CEO. You're thinking like one, and you're reviewing reports. You're not just looking at your bank account anymore. You're creating KPIs so that you can understand, is this really working? And then you're managing the expenses of the company. And you're also growing your money, because now you understand marketing. All right. So now in preserve and multiply, now we're going to be creating in this one tax strategies. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute, y'all. Let me try this again. I'm gonna change the color. Let's do yellow. So, tax. I don't know what's going on there. Let's see. Let's try this again. Tax strategies. Okay, can y'all see that? Tax strategies. We're going to be doing tax strategies, because what we're going to be doing is, now that you got all this going, you probably got a tax bill when you file. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to learn how to eliminate your taxes So you don't have to pay hardly any taxes. And we're going to create these strategies so that you're not paying $100,000 to the IRS. Because $100,000, who wants to send that type of money to the IRS? You want that money for yourself. You can use that in your business. You can use that into something else that's going to help you or your employees or whatever. We need to make sure we're keeping this money here. So we're going to be talking about in this. Now, not everyone's ready to go here. I think some people want to just jump right here. You ain't ready for this yet. There may be some other things we need to be discussing here. Now, if you want to go straight here, we can go there. But we're going to still need to deal with these other areas if these are problems in your business. So why don't you just fix your whole business rather than just fixing pieces of it? Okay. All right. So we're going to come up with tax strategies. We're also going to be coming up with financial strategies. And in these financial strategies let's see, strategies. Because see, now when you went from here to here, now you understand money at a much greater level, and you're looking to preserve and grow it like we're supposed to. We're supposed to be good stewards over our money, and we're supposed to help grow this money, not let money leak out the money bag constantly. We got to grow and develop. So we're going to create some strategies. Now we're more on a strategy level because we're going to make sure that we're going to be good stewards over this money, and we're going to grow the money for the kingdom. Now, if you're not kingdom minded, that's fine. You can do it for whatever purpose you got, but I'm thinking kingdom. All right. And then, so we got tax strategies and financial strategies. That's what's going to be the biggest thing here. So now you got a business that is unstoppable. You got a force of movement that cannot be stopped because everyone knows cash is what's going to move a business. You can't do much without cash. You can be the smartest person, but if you don't have no money, no cash, you can't do nothing. You can create all the systems and everything in the world, and you can have the greatest business idea, but if you don't have no money, you can't push it. So that's what this is for. And this can be futuristic also for legacy in your family, creating a consistent business where you can now, step out and do other things that's with your family or even pass things down to them. So you're thinking a lot longer term because the Bible talks about that we're supposed to leave an inheritance for our children and our children's children. So that's some big thinking right there. And that's how big our God is. So, hey, we got to now create some strategies. Don't be that one that's get a bunch of money and then you just take your money and just throw it on a big debt or throw it, and then you're constantly caught in a cycle of not having no money. No, we're going to create some strategies that's going to help grow the money, and you're going to pay for it over time. So you're going to create a plan for today, and then you're going to be looking out over 5 to 6 to 7 years. And then you're going to start working that plan. And then you're going to find yourself to an end destination. And that's where you're going to start having so much financial success. Okay. So, number 1, tax relief. 2, cash flow growth. 3, profit mastery. 4, preserve and multiply. I know this seems like a mess, but this is how this model works. And I've been thinking about it, and I've ran myself through it, and I can see that I've grown in business. It's not just money. The business is not just an ATM to me anymore, where I just go and grab money whenever I want to. No, I know that the money has purposes, and now I have to look at different things and being more careful with how the money's flowing out. Okay? Thank y'all for listening. I appreciate you sticking with me to the end on this. I'm hoping that this has done something that's helped you. We're working on eventually getting like a scorecard that can help you identify where you stand in each one of these. Okay? Have a great day.